This is Lorenzo, and this is the Training Map Taxonomy video series, lesson number 10. It's on the 6th dimension, focusing on developing pulling strength in the horizontal vector. All right, so we finally made it to the upper body development part of our training. This is part 1 of a 4-part pull press vector series. On the left side of our matrix, we have our dimensional skill. So which dimension are we in? The horizontal vector. Which domain? The pulling domain. Which skill? Today we're focused on horizontal vector rowing endurance. From a muscular perspective, this is going to emphasize the back, particularly the mid-back, as well as the biceps. To our right, we have our modality benchmarks. We're going to be exploring 4 performance targets associated with the horizontal vector dimension, 2 in the gymnastics category and 2 in the metabolic conditioning category. As a reminder, we are exploring the top 30 performance benchmarks of physical mastery in this taxonomy series. We've already covered the first 15, 9 in the lower body and 6 in our core development journey. Okay, so the 4 horizontal vector performance benchmarks that we should be aiming for are the first 2, the gymnastics category, the front lever, a benchmark of stability, the body row, a benchmark of strength or strength endurance to be more specific. In the metabolic conditioning category, we have the row on the ergometer. We have a 2-kilometer row and a 500-meter row. The front lever, as we can see here, straight arms, straight body, is a benchmark of position. Either I can get into the position or I can't. And once I can get into the position, for how long can I hold it? And for how long should I hold it to demonstrate competence? If you're male, 9 seconds is what you're aiming for. And for the gals, 3 seconds. Next, we have the body row, as we can see over here. This is a benchmark not of load, not of time, but also one of position. Either I can do the movement according to the biomechanical standards or I can't. And once I can, how many reps can I do in a row? No pun intended. So if you're a guy, you're aiming for 30 consecutive high quality reps. And for the girls, you're aiming for 18 consecutive reps. Next, and for our 18th benchmark in the series, we have the row on the machine. The 2,000 meter row event is a benchmark not of load, not of position per se, although working on your form is very important in order to even establish a benchmark to begin with, but it's a benchmark of time. For the guys, we're aiming to row 2 kilometers under 7 minutes 15 seconds. Currently I am 7:30, almost there. For the girls, you're aiming to row 2 kilometers under 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Finally, for our last and the 19th benchmark in the series, we also have the row, but focused on the 500-meter event. So whereas the 2-kilometer event is focused more on power, more specifically endurance, this event is one of the purest benchmarks of power. You can also think of it in terms of speed. The 500-meter row disproportionately focuses on helping us condition which energy system? The phosphocreatine energy system. So whereas the 2-kilometer row is disproportionately focusing on our glycolytic energy system, the 500-meter row is more on the anaerobic phosphocreatine energy system. Your goal, if you're a guy, is to row 500 meters below 1 minute and 32 seconds. And for the ladies, below 1 minute and 45 seconds, as we can see here. As I said before, it's only by focusing on the things that we actually need and to have some way to know that we're actually making progress towards the things that we need, that we can get what we want. And what do we want? We want these benefits. People don't train for benchmarks. They train because of benefits. But the only way that we get these benefits is by focusing on the right benchmarks. And so specifically looking at horizontal vector rowing endurance, benefits include increased shoulder mobility, reduced shoulder pain. It's not so much that these movements reduce pain as it is that we are strengthening and lengthening weak and tight muscles that may prevent future pain. Secondly, and the whole point of increased range of motion is so that we have access in that range. We can produce more force in that range. If we don't use it, we lose it. Next, we all want to be more injury resistant. What does that mean? It means that not only do we want increased range of motion, but we want to strengthen our shoulders within that range. Now, one thing that's very unique with the horizontal vector, by focusing on the front lever or straight arm strength work, we will be disproportionately putting stress in areas such as the shoulders and the elbows, which will bulletproof our joints, which is so important for stability. And as with every other dimension, that rowing endurance will transfer to activities of daily pulling, which we take for granted, although either she's very weak or this is a very heavy door. Rowing endurance is the foundation to developing vertical pulling strength, as we can see here. Why? Because developing dynamic shoulder elbow power is also involved in the pull-up, so it transfers. Let's not forget, one of the main reasons people want to train this dimension is for more complete back and bicep development. The row will disproportionately focus on the posterior delt, the mid traps, as well as the rhomboids major and minor, or just the mid back. Finally, rowing endurance is also the foundation to many sports, such as, rowing itself, archery or bow hunting, and many grappling sports.